Welcome to Midway Minute, everybody. I'm Scott Koral. He is Kevin Kaduk. And the Bears take it on the chin, 34-30, losing to the Detroit Lions.
Yeah.
And really, there's only one big question here, Kevin. There's only this. What do you do about Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy?
Look, the McCaskies are not known for getting rid of people mid-season. But if Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace and Ted Phillips are not walking out of the Hallis Hall doors for the last time ever Monday morning, I think the McCaskey family is really going to hear about it from the fans because this just cannot go on. It's one thing to lose to the Packers on Sunday Night Football. Aaron Rodgers is a great quarterback. That's a pretty well-built team, as we've seen for the last 3 decades. But to lose in this fashion to the Lions, it's just incredible. And I just put this on Twitter. Were it not for like the improbable comebacks against the Lions the first time, and then the Falcons, and then barely winning that game against the Giants, we're looking at a 2-10 football team. A football team that 2 seasons ago was a field goal away from, making the divisional round of the playoffs. So I just don't know how you possibly go forward. My question to you is this, Scott. Whoever comes in to clean up this mess, what usable pieces do you have going forward?
You have usable pieces, but in order to get assets, you need to trade out of this. I mean, basically, the question that the next GM has to do, and personally, here's my thought. Let me. I'm not even going to start over. I want to go right here. Next week, the Bears play the Texans. I would fire Matt Nagy right now. And I would tell Ryan Pace.
Let Ryan Pace see Deshaun Watson. That's where
absolutely.
Going, right?
I absolutely want to do that. I think he deserves to see what a real quarterback looks like as opposed to the one that he drafted. And then I would tell him after that game, you got to go. That is
cruel. That is cruel, but completely warranted. I agree with you there. Look, this is not a quick fix thing. This is not a little fix here, a little fix there. I think that's really where the Bears thought they were going into this season. It obviously didn't work that way. With the offensive line. The offensive line actually kind of looks like it's been coming around the past couple of weeks or so, but still that last the Trubisky turnover, the guy blows right past Jermaine Ifedi to cause that turnover. It's just tough. This is something that's in the water, and obviously we can say, okay, well, it's we always say this is going to last for as long as the McCaskies are here, but that they're not selling the team. Virginia McCaskey is going to go to her grave thinking that the franchise of her father is still in the family. Now, whether or not the kids, whatever they decide to do with it remains to be seen, but this is not happening anytime soon. So it's like, okay, whoever you get in really needs to make wholesale changes, and it needs to be an entire philosophy. And I know people say, okay, let's bring in John McDonough. John McDonough did a great job with the Blackhawks, but he also walked into a situation that had Patrick Kane and Jonathan Taves, Duncan Keith, and Brent Seabrook. I don't know. The one thing I did like, I don't know who said this on Twitter. Theo Epstein is not the next GM of the Bears, but he could probably. I would actually really like if he actually ran a search committee. I bet Theo does know how to find that person.
He may. Here's the thing that, and I spoke about this with Brendan Shagru of Bears Wire earlier this week. I said, I think it's not that Ted Phillips is a bad guy. He's a businessman. No. He is a businessman. And the Bears have made money. So that's not in question. Mm-hmm. But make him oversee the business side of things and bring in football guys, a football team president, a GM from that team president, a coach. Bring in those kinds of guys. Bring in football guys to run the football part. Bring in businessmen to run. But
how many times has he made that decision over?
He's made a lot.
He's brought in quote unquote football guys. Ryan Pace looks the part. He's got the square jaw. He came from Sean Payton and the New Orleans Saints. It didn't work.
But here's the thing. That's Pace. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. I think, Ted Phillips made that call. So take Ted Phillips out of that. It doesn't mean he should leave the organization. He makes money.
Sure.
So let him make the money and bring in somebody that can make that call And that way we'll have
right.
GM that we can
That's
feel like we can
fine.
trust.
If you want to put him aside and he can run every single sponsorship deal in the world, then fine. Before today's game, CBS's Jason La Canfora reported that if there is a head coaching change, Pat Fitzgerald could be the guy. That makes sense. Pat Ryan is a part owner of the Bears. He's obviously a huge Northwestern guy. I hate that move. I think the only solace I took from that is that Jason La Canfora has a worse track record of being right on these types of stories than the Bears do at picking head coaches. So,
and La Canfora is not that good. Like, the Bears hate him. The Bears fans hate him. He's not that good when it comes to the Bears. He makes a lot of really dumb quotes and dumb statements. I really don't take much stock in it.
You wouldn't want to bet any money on that, but
no.
Pat Fitzgerald to me it's just such a weird thing. Like, he's obviously a great guy. He is perfect for Northwestern. To me, he's one of the singular guys in Chicago sports history. Like, he just represents Northwestern football and that 1996 Rose Bowl or 1995 Rose Bowl team. But to actually think that he would kind of come in and be able to resurrect a professional football franchise that he really has, he has no professional experience, it's not going to work.
Well, and so where do you go from here? Let's start with Nagy. If you fire him, which I'm sure that they will, who would you want?
I guess that remains to be seen. Obviously, everyone wants an offensive guy. Well, we went out and got an offensive guy, and it didn't work. But the last two times we've gotten an offensive guy, and Nagy and Trestman, it really hasn't worked. I think there's going to be time for that. Obviously, we're pretty emotional right now. I'm pretty fired up. I know you are, because, look, this is 35 years and counting without a Super Bowl. I was talking with my 6-year-old daughter today and saying, the last time the Bears won a Super Bowl, I was your age. The weird thing, though, is like, okay, this loss actually helped the Bears. So it's one thing to be angry about it, but it hurts because when you're a Bears fan, and I know you bleed orange and blue even more than I do, to take it on the chin against a bad Lions team, no matter what you talk about draft position or you want the house to be clean, it still is.
The really funny thing is the Bears, when they were 5-1, at one point they were atop the NFC, the whole NFC, and now
number one seed.
They were in last place. They're in last place in their division. So you went from being number one to all the way down here, and every other team has passed you up. Even teams that you beat earlier in the season, they've all passed you up.
They're in danger of falling out of first place in the NFC East, Scott.
At this point they'd be a game up, unless, well, it depends. If the Giants win, they'd be tied with the Giants, and the Bears hold the tiebreaker, but they're going to lose at least a couple more. Hopefully they lose. Personally, like I said before the game in the preview edition, my head wants them to lose out. My heart wants them to win, but my head wants them to lose out. And the only way that they are ever going to get better is to lose out this year so that they can clean house, get some new blood in, and get some new energy in Hallis Hall. That's what they need, new energy.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. And we're already in a situation where the Cubs are probably rebuilding. The Blackhawks are definitely rebuilding. Thankfully, the White Sox and Bulls look to be on somewhat of an upward trajectory. So at least
Jerry
Reinsdorf
owns the only two franchises in Chicago.
And Jerry seemed to be on an upward trend. Wrong.
Yeah. Who knew? The Last Dance was not the Last Dance. Who knew?
I guess not. Let's cut it there. We might be talking again this week if actually something does come out of Hallis Hall. So if you are following us on YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe button and follow all the news on our newsletter, Midway Minute, at midwayminute.win. It's free to subscribe. A lot of people enjoy getting it. So lots to talk about and lots to dissect. Never, never, ever boring with the Chicago Bears, Scott.
No, we'll see you guys this week.